Today I thought we'd play with a little bit of new drugstore makeup. If you're new here, welcome in. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and over 60 woman. It's going to be a fun, pleasant, lighthearted little makeup session. I went to the drugstore recently. I picked up a few things. We'll talk about those in a few minutes. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave and make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you want all the good stuff, you might want to sign up for my Sunday morning email newsletter. The link is in the description box down below. Every Sunday morning, I send out a very short, very sweet, very free email newsletter featuring all the cool things I found throughout the week, whether it's a great sale or a good recipe or a good piece of information I wanted to share with you. Anything we'd be talking about if you and I were out together having coffee, that's what goes in the Sunday morning email newsletter. It is super popular, super free, super fun. Link is in the description box down below. I think you're going to love it. Well, as I mentioned, I picked up some drugstore makeup that's new to me. I don't think all of them are new to the market. And oh my gosh, you guys, I have not been shopping in a drugstore environment for makeup in a long time, and it kind of got expensive. When did that happen? I was a little bit taken aback by the prices. I mean, it's still less expensive than premium brands, but oh my goodness, I was kind of surprised. So I have 4 things here. I have the True Match Lumi Real Luminous Foundation. The reason I picked this up is because I'm sort of getting to the end of this tube, and I thought, you know what? I want to go see what else is available. This I love, absolutely love. This took me all through the summer, and then this I thought we would give it a try today. Now this particular piece was, let me see, let me check the receipt. This was in the drugstore, $15.99. Next I picked up a Milani bronzer. This is a real subtle bronzer, and I want to show you some tricks you can do with a product like this if you feel like your foundation isn't quite the color or tone that you're looking for. So this Milani bronzer, this was $12.49. Then I also picked up this little e.l.f. blush. This is a cream blush in the color Tahiti. This has been around for a long, long time because it's such a great color. It's kind of a wonderful combination of a rose and a peach. It's really yummy, super popular. I think this is probably one of their sort of OG products in their line, but didn't e.l.f. used to have like $1 price tag or something like that, or am I thinking of another brand? So this e.l.f. was $10.79 for this blush right here. And then last up, I did get some Milani Make It Last Dewy Setting Spray. I like to use just a little of this at the end of my makeup. It kind of helps everything sort of melt in together and set my makeup down. And this one was $12.99. So I'm going to be using a combination of what I picked up at the drugstore as well as some favorites that I have in my own collection. And we're going to see if we can turn this 68-year-old face into something, oh, I don't know, a little fluffed up. First thing I'm going to do is start with highlighter. I like to highlight underneath my makeup because it just reflects light differently. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I've had this for a long, long time. You can get the same effect as this. I think it's with the Halo Glow. Is it the e.l.f. Halo Glow? Someone help me remember in the comments down there. It does the same thing. It really does at a much lower price point. I just have had the Flawless Filter for a long time, so I thought I would just go ahead and use that. And I don't think the Halo Glow made it with me in my move across the country. You know, I had to pare down a whole lot. So I am putting this on the high points of my face so that when the light hits my face, it bounces that light off and just creates kind of a nice look for the skin. Next up, I'm going to start addressing some of what I call the doodads on my face. So on my particular more than mature face, I have some dark circles underneath my eyes, and I also have some veining that is coming through because my skin is thinner. So I always like to address those sort of at the start. And I keep it really, really light because I don't want that product to build up and look heavy or cakey. This is the Jones Road corrector pencils. I love, love, love these. Love, love, love these. Not only because they do a good job of what they are supposed to do, which is cover stuff up, but they're so handy. They're so handy and so easy. So I'm just hitting those veins right there, and then I've got a little bit of redness right there. And then I always try to go in to the side of my nose because it can get a little dark in that creasy area. Then I'm just going to take my finger and tap that in really lightly. And you can see that already it is correcting that dark circle area underneath my eyes. Next up, the Catrice Under Eye Brightener. I love this stuff, and you can tell by the container because for me to go through a product is really rare because I just test and try so many, but this one is getting towards the nubbins. I love this. I'm going to take again that ring finger, and I'm just going to go over that corrector pencil. This is going to lighten that area as well as create a nice surface for my concealer to lay down. One of my goals when I'm doing makeup now that I'm older and my skin is not smooth, it's not really taut, I like to make sure that I keep the makeup as light as possible, as misty, as translucent, because I don't want the makeup to sit on top of my face. I want it to kind of blend in with my skin and just give me a little bit of subtle coverage and emphasis in the areas that I'm looking for. So a light hand is really, really important to me as I've gotten older with my makeup. Now I'm going to use the Maybelline corrector. What color is this? This is 98, I believe. It's a fairly light color. My skin is very, very light. And I'm going to just do the lightest amount in that under eye area because, again, I don't want product buildup, particularly underneath my eyes, because that's the crinkly, wrinkly area of my face, and I don't want it drifting into those little wrinkles. So I'm just going to do a light application, just enough to work on those dark circles. I'm going to blend it in really well. And it's going to continue to really meld into my skin as I do the rest of my makeup because of the warmth of my skin. So I'm going to help it out by, moving that around into a thin layer. And then the warmth of my skin is really going to help it just blend in and look really, really soft and natural. So now I'm going to start in with the Lumi True Match. I'm not sure what it says on the bottom because I can't read it. It's really small lettering. I picked up the color N12. I am really light-skinned. I'm almost glow in the dark, so I need to be careful with my foundation. And when I'm purchasing a new foundation that I'm not able to try on, like a drugstore brand, I'm always going to kind of defer to a lighter color if I'm, wrestling between two different shades. I'll always go lighter because I can deepen a light foundation a lot easier than I can lighten up a darker foundation. So that's what I did here. Again, this is N12. I'm going to shake it up a little bit. And I'm wondering if it's going to be really, really similar to the skin tint that I've been using, or how it's going to lay down if it's going to look a lot heavier. I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. So this is 2 pumps right here. And then I'm just going to dot it around my face. I haven't worn a proper foundation in a while. And I'm finding that the 2 pumps is a lot. So I think 1 pump, if you end up picking this up, 1 pump is probably going to do plenty. Now, what do I do with this that's on the back of my hand? I always just rub my hands together because that helps to even out the tone. On the back of my hands, it's just a little way not to waste product and to get a little benefit along the way. So I'm just going to work this in with my fingers. And I didn't used to use my fingers, and I think that I probably didn't like using my fingers until I started using just a skin tint. And then I found out that the fingers are really quick and easy. So I think I'm kind of a finger gal now. But you definitely can use your complexion brush, that's for sure. My favorite, and I've used a lot of complexion brushes, is this 101 from BK Beauty. This is what I would use when I was using regular foundation. Today I'm just going to use my fingers, but if you're looking for a good foundation brush, I can tell you this is a good brush and it's going to last you, gosh, for years and years and years, if not be a lifetime brush. These are really quality brushes. Everything that I'm talking about today will be listed in the description box down below. So you should be able to find any information down there. So I'm just working this into the skin. And I could have used a brush for this. I just decided to do my fingers and see how I liked that. The color is looking pretty good. I was concerned in the store that it was going to be too light. And then when I put it on the back of my hand, I thought, oh no, is that going to be too dark? But I think it's just hitting about perfectly. I'm going to stop real quick here. I usually put on lip gloss before I start my makeup, and I forgot this morning. I always put on a hydrating lip gloss when I start doing my makeup, except for today. I forgot in the beginning because I want to make sure that my lips are hydrated, and this product makes them a little more plumped up as well. This is the City Beauty lip gloss. So I always put this on at the beginning of my makeup so it has time to work on my lips, so that by time I put my lipstick on, my lips are hydrated, they're a little fuller, and they're just ready for the day. So this is just one of their lighter glosses that I keep on my makeup table for exactly this purpose. Okay, so I want to tell you, I just brought my makeup mirror forward, didn't film it, and looked in the magnifying side of my makeup mirror. Oh my gosh, you guys, this foundation looks so good. It looks so good even in my magnifying mirror. It looks glowy and moist. It doesn't look caked on or heavy. It's really, really pretty. So far, so good. And I think the color is really good. So right here, probably about one pump of foundation, and you can see it really is looking pretty good. I'm actually kind of shocked. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. So good start on the foundation. Now I'm going to move into a little contouring bronzing with the Boomstick, and then I'm going to use the Milani bronzer and show you what I can do with that. These Boomsticks are probably my favorite product line right now. They're so handy. They do a good job. They're super, super easy. I think that they're very, very reasonably priced. So big hit with me. Now you can see where I place this bronzer on my face because I am contouring or shaping the planes and angles of my face. So keep in mind, if you've ever, colored in a coloring book or did any pencil drawing, areas with shadow or shade are going to recede where the light areas are going to pop forward. So this is just more, kind of shaping the planes and angles of the face to make it look a little, more attractive or put together. Now you'll notice that I only put the bronzer on my forehead on one side, because if I put it on the other side here, no one would ever see it because my hair goes over that side. So just keep in mind that you're doing makeup for your own face, and think about, where your hair falls and that sort of thing. So I'm just taking this stipple brush. This is an old stipple brush from Real Techniques. I don't even think it's in their line anymore, but I would recommend a stipple brush if you like to use a cream bronzer. It just really helps the product to blend in and lay down in a really nice way. And if you get one that's affordable, it's not that big of an investment and it's going to last you for a long time. So you can see right there, it's just starting to cut in some cheekbones on my face. Now I'm going to go down to my chin area. And why did I put the color there? Because I want to kind of address the less than tautness of the skin along my chin. And by putting a shadow there, it's pushing it back and making it look a little more chiseled or carved when it's really not in, real life. So this is just a little illusion that we can create on our faces to give us some definition where maybe nature doesn't have it totally on its own. Now I'm going to use this new little Milani bronzer. This is in the color Sunlight. This is a very, very light toned bronzer, and I got a light tone bronzer for a specific reason, because I thought if this foundation is too light, I want to be able to kind of hit it with a richer, deeper color and make it a little bit more blending into my skin tone. So I'm going to take this little pointed brush and I'm going to swirl it around in here, get some product on, and then watch. I'm just going to hit that really subtly, and look at the difference right there, that little glow. Compare it to this side. I hope you can see the difference. It just warms it up a little bit. Now, if this foundation had been way too light, which it ended up not being, I could put this in the hollows of my face and even along my nose and along my forehead to kind of warm that foundation up, so you're not buying the wrong color, you're adjusting the color to make it work. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit, and I'm really liking this color. It just brings a little bit of warmth to the skin, and to be honest, if you looked at my face, you wouldn't even realize that I had put that on my face. It just warmed things up. So a light bronzer like this, particularly in a powder formula that you can use with a fluffy brush, it's really going to serve you when you just want to make things a little bit warmer, a little bit richer and deeper. So far, we're 2 for 2. I love the foundation. I think it looks really good. And I love the look of that bronzer. It just warms everything up and pulls everything together. So good purchases on both of those, even though they were a little bit more expensive than I remember drugstore makeup being. Next up, I'm going to use the e.l.f. This is the Tahiti, and I believe this is their Putty Blush line. And let me put it right on the back of my hand. So there it is on the back of my hand. You can see it's subtle. It's not real strong. It's kind of a peachy, rosy tone. Super pretty. I'm going to go ahead and use a blush brush. So I'm just going to take this, go right in, get some product on my brush, and I'm going to put it in the high points of my cheeks right here. Ooh, that is exactly the kind of blush that I like. It's subtle, yet you can see it. It warms things up. It doesn't look like it's sitting on my skin. It's sort of just really translucent, which is pretty. So you can see the blush on this side, no blush on this side. Let's go ahead and get it over here. And I'm going to put just the smallest amount on the bridge of my nose, because what does that do? That really tells your eye that your skin is healthy and you've been out in the sun a little bit because you have just that little bit of rosy glow. If you do it really subtly, it's the type of color that your eye really doesn't discern as, oh, look at that color there. It's more of a sense of glowy, healthy skin. So next time you're doing your makeup and you think of it, try just the tiniest amount of blush on the bridge of your nose, and I think you'll kind of love the look. So I think the complexion is looking really good right now. I am amazed at that foundation. I think the bronzer is fabulous. I love the translucent nature of that blush. This has been in the line for a long time, and I can see why. It's a really great color. So we're doing good on the skin right now. What I want to do is I want to add another layer of highlight. Now remember, I used the Hollywood Flawless filter underneath all this makeup to start with because that pops up a different type of reflective light than this illumination is going to on top of my makeup. So this is another boomstick. This is the older packaging. I believe their packaging now is this one. I really, really do love this line. So this is the glow stick, and you can see the color right here. And let me show you how it looks on the back of my hand. So it's right there. There's the blush, and there's the little glow stick. I don't know if glow stick's the name, but that's what I'm calling it today. So I'm going to go over the same areas as I did with that Hollywood Flawless filter because it's going to give another type of light to the face. And I like to get as much light as possible bouncing off my skin because that gives the viewer or the person looking at me the impression of very healthy skin, very glowy skin, and kind of makes little issues like my veining and my crinkly under eyes sort of recede in the distance because that glow is catching their eye and translating information that that's healthy, glowing skin. So it's just a way to work with light and how our eyes work to really make everything just look a little bit better for more mature skin. And you can see how easy it was to blend in that little glow stick. It's just super easy. Now I'm going to work on the eyebrows, and I do my eyebrows in 2 steps. I do a base color, and then when I'm done with my makeup, I go back in and do the details. The reason I do that is because while I'm putting my makeup on, you know, the foundation and powders and stuff, I can disturb the pencil work on my eyebrows. So I leave that detail work for the end so that it doesn't get disturbed while I'm doing the rest of my makeup. Again, these are the Jones Road pencils. I love these. So quick, really good formula. I just think that, you know, this is just one of their best products in their line. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just filling color in to my eyebrows. So really light hand. And I'm just getting those areas that might be a little sparse. And now I'm going to take a brow brush and brush that in. Time to address the eyes. Now I have highlight on the brow bone, which is the highest point of my eyes and where the light's going to reflect. But look at my eyelids. I have veining and discoloration. So as much as I want to keep my makeup very soft, I do want to address those issues so that they're not popping out during the day. What I'm going to use today is a Trinity London eyeshadow, and this one is in the color Mystery. Let me show it to you. It looks a little dark in the container, but once you put it on your eyes, it's actually just a very light reflective color. And just a small, very light application of this is going to give my eyelids just a little bit of a finishing color. And look, it covers up that veining and discoloration. So I'm able to get a cream shadow on my lid, and it's not really harsh and it's a light application, but it does exactly what I need it to do, which is cover up that veining and give my eyelids just a little bit of a pretty look. You can see how easy it was to apply that. So there's the shadow right there. Super easy and just a nice, soft, natural look on my crinkly, wrinkly, discolored eyelids. Now I'm going to curl my lashes. Now I'm going to tightline. This is with the Revlon Color Stay eyeliner in black. I really do like this one. It's creamy, it goes on that difficult area, and it stays down really nicely throughout the day. So what I'm doing is I am really aiming for the base of my lashes. Of course, I do want to get the skin as well, but what I'm really looking to do is fill in between those lashes. And you can see the difference here and here. It just adds some depth to that lash line. So I have that tight lining all done. And before I do my mascara, I'm going to go in with the Hourglass finishing powder. What is this going to do? This is just going to add a filter over my entire face. And I'm going to put it over my entire face because I want to blend everything together with the reflective particles of this powder. Again, we're working with light and shadow and reflection and how our eye views light. So I want to put that filter all over everything. This is my big fluffy Refer brush. Love this. This is the number 30. This is Dim Light from Hourglass. And watch, I'm going to go over everything around my face. And this is just going to add another layer of smoothing and finishing that makeup to give a very cohesive look. For mascara today, I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Full Fat Lashes. My opinion, just my opinion, about mascara is use the one that works for you. I think that mascara is not a mystery anymore, and most companies have nailed the formula. So whatever one works for you, I just happen to have this on my makeup table. So that's what I'm using today. Okay, we're getting close to being all ready here. The next thing I'm going to do is the detail work on my eyebrows. I do like to go in at the end of my makeup and do just a few things that I think do make a difference. So I'm going to take the little skinny brow pencil from e.l.f. Let me see. This is the Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. It's a pretty clear name. What color am I in? Oh, I can't read it. It's like light or blonde or taupe. And watch what I do. One thing I want to do is any areas that didn't quite get filled in enough, I'm going to hit those. And then I'm going to define more clearly the bottom of that eyebrow. So I'm going to run this along the bottom to just help frame that eye. And as I get to the end, I'm going to pull that tip out a little bit, but I'm not going to bring it down because that's going to pull things down. I want to bring it out so that my eyes look like they're more lifted and elongated. So I'm going to take that end of the brow and just pull it out a little bit. And then we have kind of a nice shape. So look at that brow right there and then compare it with this one right here. So we've defined the bottom and pulled out that tip a little bit to kind of lengthen that eye. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to fill in any areas that I think are still a little bit sparse looking. I'm going to emphasize the bottom of that brow. And then once I get to the end, I'm going to do the best I can to keep the angle conducive to the shape of my brow, but I'm going to pull it more out than down, because that down is going to close that eye off, make it look shorter, less elongated, and kind of pull that area down. So I am focusing on lengthening that angle. So there we go with the brows. And one thing I always do is set my brows down. I have healthy eyebrows, which means my eyebrow hairs get long. I have to trim them and that sort of thing, and they can move around during the day. So I'll take an eyebrow gel. It doesn't matter which one. This is from Trini London, and I'm just going to put that through my brows to kind of keep them in place throughout the day. Now for some lipstick. I went ahead and took off my lip gloss because my lips are hydrated now. They're a little bit plumper. They're kind of ready for lipstick. They're not the dry, colorless lips that I wake up with. So today I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Liner in Pillow Talk, Iconic. And then I'm going to be using a new Jones Road lipstick. I would love to tell you the color. I can't read it, but it'll be in the description box down below. I really love this new line of lipstick from Jones Road. There's 3 colors. They're like the most perfect colors. Really, this is fabulous. There we have the lipstick. And here we have the finished look. Oh gosh, although I was kind of surprised at the drugstore makeup prices, I am pleased with everything I picked up today. I think this foundation certainly looks very, very pretty on the skin. It's light, it's hydrating, it has a little bit of a dewy look without being over the top. Good coverage. I'm going to see how it wears today. I'll check back in with you guys about that. And if you're looking to just warm your skin up a little bit, and that can be something that we want to work with in the winter months when we're not getting outside as much, this is a gorgeous bronzer that'll just give you a little bit of that sun-kissed look. And the Tahiti blush from e.l.f., it's just as good as it was, I don't know, years and years ago. It's really, really gorgeous. You can see the color right here. Fun makeup day for me. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. You guys know it just tickles me when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. Again, I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. Make it a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.